The year is 161 AD, and the Roman Empire is at the height of its golden age. The empire had recently undergone 23 years of relative peace under the prosperous reign of Antoninus Pius, and was succeeded by his adoptive son Marcus Aurelius, who made his adoptive brother Lucius Verus co-emperor alongside him. In the autumn of that same year, the king of the Parthian Empire, Farrokh IV, invaded the Roman-client kingdom of Armenia, deposed its king, and replaced it with a member of the Arsacid family, Bacchus. The governor of Cappadocia at the time was a Romanized Gaul named Marcus Sedatius Severianus, who gathered a legion, most likely the Legio IX Hispana, in order to counterattack the Parthian aggression. Severianus had been convinced by a Greek mystic named Alexander of Abanonticus that he would win a great victory against them if he attacked, and therefore decided to meet the Parthians in open battle. However, when he arrived in Armenia, he found himself surrounded by the Parthian general Khosrow at a town called Elagat. After failing to fight off the Parthians, Severianus committed suicide, and his leaderless legion was massacred. The campaign had only lasted 3 days. With Armenia now secured, the Parthians then moved south to Syria. The governor of Syria, Lucius Attidius Cornelianus, also had his army defeated against the Parthians. The Jewish and Syriac populations of the province had welcomed the Parthians as liberators, due in part to their bitter resentment towards their Roman occupiers. Jewish writings apparently even praised the Parthian cavalry as harbingers of the Hebrew Messiah, with one particular writing stating, "When you see a Parthian charger tied up to a tombstone in Palestine, the hour of the Messiah will be near." Soon, the strategically important city of Edessa also fell into Parthian hands. After Roman offers of peace were rejected, it was obvious that reinforcements to the east were desperately needed, and thus an African senator named Publius Julius Geminius Marcianus led Legio X Gemina to Cappadocia after being stationed in Vindobona, along with several detachments or vexillations from other Danubian legions. Other legions stationed along the Rhine frontier were also sent east, along with Legio I Minervia, 2 Adiutrix, and 5 Macedonica. By the winter of 161 and 162, a rebellion was brewing in Syria, and it was decided that one of the co-emperors was to go east to the frontier to lead the campaign personally. It was decided that Lucius Verus would go, and left in the summer of 162, while Marcus Aurelius stayed in Rome. Despite Lucius's arrival in Antioch, he spent most of the campaign indulging in his usual well-known excesses of debauchery, and delegated the responsibilities of the war to his generals. During the campaigning season of 163, Legio I Minervia and 5 Macedonica were sent into Armenia under the command of Marcus Statius Priscus, their success culminating with the siege of the Armenian capital Martizak. The Romans had successfully taken the capital, and Bacchor was deposed and Sohaemus was reinstalled as the client king. The Romans then constructed a new Armenian capital 30 miles closer to their border, named Cain Polis, or New City in Greek. Meanwhile, the Parthians invaded another Roman client, Osrhoene, in Mesopotamia, and also deposed that nation's ruler in exchange for their own nominee. In response, the Roman troops in Armenia moved south across the Euphrates. The Roman historian Lucian cites there being a victorious battle near Sura, and afterwards the Romans moved north and occupied Dosora and Nicephorium on the northern bank of the Euphrates. After that, they moved on to Osrhoene and spent most of 164 AD preparing for a renewed assault on Parthian territory. In 165 AD, the Roman troops, possibly Legio V Macedonica under the command of Marcius Verus, entered Osrhoene and had the Roman client Manus reinstalled. The Parthians retreated to Nisibis, which was also subsequently besieged and taken by the Romans. Another Roman force of Legio III Gallica, led by Gaius Avidius Cassius, moved down the Euphrates and assaulted the fortress of Dura Europos, which he subsequently captured, along with reconquering the fortress of Edessa. Surprisingly, the citizens of the town overpowered and killed the Parthian garrison, who then opened the gates to the Romans. This allowed the Roman forces to launch a three-pronged attack into Mesopotamia, with Avidius Cassius marching onto the city of Seleucia and engaging the Parthians in a battle close to the city. At this point, many Parthian vassals had abandoned the alliance. By the end of 165, Cassius had reached the city of Seleucia and sacked it despite the city initially opening their gates to him, which severely damaged Cassius' reputation. Nevertheless, Cassius kept marching down the Euphrates and reached Ctesiphon, which he also breached and sacked, as had the Emperor Trajan done just 48 years prior. After the Roman forces had withdrawn west by 166, they declared the campaign a success and sent word of their victory to Rome. Lucius Verus, despite never personally leading the Roman troops, took the title of Parthicus Maximus and was awarded a triumph in Rome. However, despite Rome having secured peace on their eastern frontier, the situation in Europe was about to get much worse. Due to the relocation of many legions stationed on the Rhine and Danube frontiers to the east, these borders of the empire were left weakened, and the Roman forces returning from the east were about to bring with them a plague that would devastate the population for the next several decades. But the direct threat to the empire was yet to come. Rome would need to be ready, for what was about to come next would be one of the toughest challenges they faced in decades. Here starts the beginning of the Marcomannic Wars. Thank you everyone for checking out my very first video on this channel. More will definitely be coming in the following weeks. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I welcome any and all suggestions on how I can improve the quality of my videos. Big shout out to Malay Archer of the Kings and Generals channel and History with Sai for their assistance and support. Please be sure to check their channels out. This is Legendarian signing off.